final week in charge for you?
Yeah, it is. Brad's come back to work, so he's been coming back just a couple of hours a day to just get his, well, not even his feet under the desk because he's not allowed to sit yet. But it's business as usual. He's basically said that I'm still in charge this week, running all the meetings and flying and coaching on the weekend.
Would that be difficult to hand back the reins?
No, not at all. As I've said all along, it's never been just about me. It's been a real team and group effort, and everyone's really stood up in his absence. All the assistant coaches, the players, the leadership group, the experienced players, and so it'll be very easy to hand the reins back.
In some ways, is the club better off through going through this, like with Clarko, some of the younger coaches, not necessarily younger, but you get a bit more of experience and you get to share the load? Yeah,
I think it's been really good for everyone to have to step up and not do anything more than play their role, but just realise how important their roles are in the whole scheme of things. And it's always good to, obviously if you take a figurehead out, be able to sort of replace them and know that, everything can just keep running smoothly, and I think that's been really beneficial for the club.
How's he found catching public transport?
A little bit different. I don't know whether he's caught much public transport over recent times. I think he said probably the last time he caught public transport he had a school uniform on. But no, it's been good. He said the public have been really good with him. So he's going okay.
So Brad's on track to be able to sit down in the coach's box next week, is he, or he's going to have to stand up?
Not too sure. You'll have to ask him next week at the press conference that he holds. But I think everything's tracking really well with his operation and his ailment, and he's definitely really, really keen. He's been watching a lot of footy and looking at areas for us to improve in the second half of the year.
Your opponents this week have had plenty of news about them. Do you address that at all, even just to say, look, we've got to be wary of these guys, they might have extra motivation?
What you do address is that this side may look a fair bit different. Obviously, it's touted that Gary will be back, and he's obviously a tremendous player. They could bring back David Swallow as well. So all of a sudden, their midfield has a bit of a different look to it. How much motivation they get from backs against the wall type of stuff, we'll have to wait and see. But for our guys, we always plan for the best of the opposition are going to throw out, and that's what we've done. We've just had our opposition meeting like we always do, and looked at what they do very well and how well they can do it if they're allowed to, and we'll just plan to try to take that away from them.
Did you get a chance to see them obviously playing last Sunday against Carlton at Etihad?
Yes, I went along to Etihad, took my 9-year-old son and his mate and filled them up with some jam donuts and sat there and watched Carlton and Gold Coast, and they were really, really good early to kick 5 goals in a quarter. Their pressure was good, their ball movement was good, but slowly Carlton just ground away and got on top in the clearances and blocked them up a little bit. So, there's a little bit that we would have taken away from that.
Do you see Sam Mitchell on the weekend trying to bait the Bombers? Is that something that you do for the Gold Coast? Do you need to mention don't do it? Does it not get mentioned? How do you approach it?
I wouldn't be mentioning it, and I don't think I'd need to mention it. I don't think our players would go down that path. We'd like to consider ourselves a well-respected club, well-respected players, and I think, we'd be more inclined to just let our football do the talking.
Will you look to tag Gary Ablett, Darren, and if you do, will Ben Jacobs probably be leading the race for that job?
Oh, look, Ben's done a few terrific jobs for us over the last couple of weeks. Hanbury and then last game against Shield. He's been out for a long time, Gary, and how he comes back, remains to be seen. But you do have to plan for the opposition's best players. So we'll obviously have something in place.
You expecting they'll play him forward a bit?
Yeah, again, it depends on how much he's been able to do. Like from all accounts, he's been able to run, a lot. So his running fitness may not be an issue. But, obviously his match fitness will be down. So whether they play him a little bit more forward, again, that's something that, we speak about in match committee, and we'll plan that, okay, well, if he plays 90-odd%, but he spends, 40% forward, what are we going to do there?
Brad addressed the troops on Monday. What was the theme of that message there? I understand he was pretty keen for the group not to take anything for granted, even with everyone saying the draw's probably relatively soft heading into the finals.
Yeah, that was basically the extent of it. Having had 4 days off and the opportunity for everyone to have a freshen up, both mentally and for the players physically, it was just okay. Now we're back. Now we've got a really important back half of the year, and to make sure that we also just hold each other accountable. We started the process, pretty. Probably 5 or 6 weeks ago after the Collingwood disappointment, and we want to make sure we continue that on. So it was just basically, welcoming everyone back from the break, but saying, okay, we've got a big second half of the year.
With Gaz, do you work him over if that's even possible, Gary Ablett, or do you not poke the bear, or just?
Oh, look, it is always dangerous to poke the bear. As far as working him over, we would be looking to try and work over every Gold Coast player. Any player in a Gold Coast jumper, we want to be aggressive on. We want to tackle aggressively. We want to put them under pressure. So Gary's just another one of those players.
Have you been surprised how much Gold Coast have struggled this year? I mean, huge things were tipped for them this season.
Look, they've been decimated with injury. They were extremely good against us last year in round 7 at Etihad. And obviously they haven't been able to recapture that type of form this year. But again, as I said, they've had a lot of players missing, and I think you'll see Gold Coast, improve with getting players back and getting them match fit.
Any developments, Darren, in the rehabs of Daniel Wells and Lee Adams?
Lee Adams went away and saw a specialist yesterday, so I'm not too sure what the extent of that is, but. As I've said before, the club are just supporting Lee with whatever path he decides to take with his football. And Daniel Wells, he's been moving around a little bit better, and we're hoping that he's getting a little bit closer.
And Nathan Grimo getting close to returning, I imagine probably first via the VFL?
Yeah, look, he's missed so much football that he'd have to sort of come back through the VFL. So yeah, we're hopefully going to get him back shortly as well.
Nick Del Santo recovered well, no problems there?
Yeah, no problems. He was super for us. Again, just testament to his professionalism to be out for the period of time that he was out. He worked really hard in rehab and came back and really just didn't miss a beat and just added a little bit of class and polish to our team.